This story has multiple updates, 3-unit HOA, one crazy owner threatening lawsuits. Check out this video in podcast form by searching Austin Stories wherever you listen, or check the video description for a link. Seriously, FHOA. Our HOA in Massachusetts is made up of just 3 units. We're in an old Victorian that was turned into 3 condos. The association is made up of me, a single female in mid-40s, Unit 2, a single male about the same age, and Unit 3, soon-to-be divorced female, mid-60s, and her adult daughter. Because Unit 3 is much larger than the rest of the building, the fees are broken up so that Unit 3 pays more in HOA fees, but everyone has equal say in voting. Until recently, the husband in Unit 3 was in charge of condo management, which is pretty much just making sure the common area bills get paid. But the couple is divorcing, and he's moving out, and the wife and adult daughter are staying. The problem is that the wife is mentally unstable. I think the daughter might also have issues, but she's not involved in the condo management and upkeep. Since buying the place in October 2019, I've had a couple of bad interactions with her where I unintentionally upset her, very easy to do, and she now refuses to speak to me or even acknowledge my presence when we're in the same common areas together. It's awkward, but I'll do whatever I can to keep the peace. Now we need someone new to handle condo finances. She suggested Unit 2 do it or herself. Unit 2 and I know putting her in charge of anything would be disastrous, but Unit 2 does not want to be in charge either. I can do it, but I know she will object. In the past, our association has only met a couple times a year and has been very slow about getting some of the upkeep that needs to get done. Finish the painting the house, and then repairing some of the wood siding and parts of the porch. It should have been done 2 years ago, but nothing happened. So we started again this summer. A painter was hired. Unit 3 told us that the painter would also do the repairs, and Unit 2 and I agreed with her in 2 separate conversations. Jump to this week. Unit 3 writes a note, her main method of communication, accusing us of being too slow in getting things done and suggesting that we need to hire an outside management company in order for the HOA to function better. She then drops this bomb that someone has been touching and moving her things in the basement and is threatening legal action. Neither of us has any idea what she's talking about. She sent a note a few months ago about the importance of not touching each other's property, and I shrugged it off because, well, I don't touch her stuff. Unit 2 and I feel like a management company for such a small HOA would be an unnecessary expense. However, today, Unit 3 told us that she would take us to court if we didn't agree to a management company and that she would only pay for a third of the fee. She's clearly spiraling out of control, but we don't know how to manage someone like this. A quick Google of her name and address brings up a story about her harassing the former condo owners to the point of police involvement. Neither Unit 2 or I want things to get to that point, but I don't like this idea of giving in to the demands of a manipulative crazy person. The first update. This isn't a great update, but here it is. After getting a 10-day harassment protection order, my upstairs neighbor violated the order on day 8 by sending me and the other owner a letter via registered mail, basically regurgitating all the points made in the previous letters, but this time to also let us know that she has contacted an arbitration firm but hasn't gotten a response yet and is currently searching for a real estate lawyer. She also said that my protection order was in retribution for her taking us to arbitration, which she hasn't yet, and has therefore deemed the order invalid. So I called the police to report the violation, and they came and arrested her. It was amazing. I have no idea why she thought sending that letter was a good idea. She was arraigned yesterday and has a pre-trial hearing in a couple of months. They put a no-contact order for the duration of the case, which is good because today, the judge denied my request to extend the harassment protection order. I don't know why. I'm sure she thinks it's just condo disagreement nonsense and it's not serious. So I'm feeling pretty deflated today, and I know this ruling will just embolden her. I doubt that she'll adhere to the no contact order, but unfortunately violating that won't get her arrested. It'll just be added to the case file or something. Not entirely sure on that part. I want to stay positive, but it's really hard. I don't want to move. I love my place. I think my ultimate goal is to get outside management for the association and get some sort of binding agreement that bars her from communicating with other condo owners. I have no idea how to do this, but there's no way I'm going to go in an association meeting with her again. My other neighbor put his place on the market today, and I really don't want new owners walking into this mess. The next update. Well, friends, as you might imagine, things have not gotten any better. After a week or more of crazy letters, in which crazy neighbor stated that we should not be using her first name in communications about condo business, but should either refer to her as Unit 3 or Ms. Last Name, calling around for lawyers and not getting called back, and clandestine meetings at Dunkin' Donuts, the other non-crazy owner, Unit 2, and I decided that we needed to call the ex-husband because, well, first off, he was still officially the condo manager. Secondly, we needed his input on how to move forward with the painting and the repairs that still need to get done. Long story short, he sent out a condo communication about current finances and so on, and proposed a vote on doing a one-time assessment to cover everything. The association voted to move forward with the assessment to get the repairs done, and then we had a vote about outside management. One of the proposals was to retain him as a condo manager for an extra $50 a month. It might seem weird to have an owner's ex-husband as a condo manager, but we thought it could work. Well, because first of all, Unit 3, as she prefers to be called, had still been singing his praises and talking about how well he ran the association as manager. And next, we already knew him and trusted him to be level-headed and fair. So we voted on keeping him on as a condo manager. Hooray! Problem solved. We all sighed a big sigh of relief and enjoyed some peace and quiet for a good 3 weeks. But of course it didn't last. We heard nothing about the painting and the repairs starting up again, and then Saturday night we get a text saying that he was resigning as condo manager. I'm assuming Unit 3 finally turned on him and he couldn't take it anymore. So back to square one. Last night I composed a letter that basically said that Unit 2 and I would like to move forward with finding an external management company. We found one that would charge the association like $300 a month, which seems somewhat reasonable, although it's still stupid we even need one. I included the company's proposal, and I proposed that, if she found other companies, that we can review the proposals next week and then vote on which ones to use. I also mentioned that the association voted yes on the assessment for the repairs and painting, and so we should move forward on that. She was the original person dealing with the painting company, so of course when we asked her 3 weeks ago for the contact info, she refused to give it, and she said that she should remain in contact with the company. Then I said that we would like to move all communication to email because the other owner's frequently away, so these stupid notes in mailboxes wasn't going to work. I didn't use the word stupid in the letter though. So today, we get a letter in the mailbox from her, accusing us of breaking the bylaws by meeting without her and then saying how horrible it was that we met and decided on her own to have her ex-husband as condo manager. This did not happen. Communication was sent out by the guy who was still officially our manager, and we voted on it. She then claims that we met and moved forward with the repairs without her input. Again, this was brought forward by the official condo manager and voted on. She then makes this amazing proposal that she should actually be the condo manager because she maintains a professional position at all times and has never treated a unit owner unfairly or spoken badly of any unit owner to another person. She then said that she would not commit to any external management companies unless there are 3 proposals to choose from. After all of our calling, we've only found 2 that would handle an association as small as ours, and that she won't commit to paying for repairs until we get a new estimate because the price of wood has dropped 70%. Anyhow, at this point, Unit 2 has already decided to move. He has his own personal issues going on, and he does not need the added stress of a crazy neighbor. I'm staying because, screw her? Also, I'm not moving until I have the dollars to buy a single-family home that's not connected to any HOA. I called the painting company and found out that no one's called them since this whole crap show began. So I got a new quote on everything, and I'm sending that out via email along with a statement saying that we did not intend to violate any bylaws, and I propose moving forward with getting 3 quotes on outside management companies and voting on that. Unfortunately, my non-crazy neighbor is putting his place on the market this week, which means that everything will most likely come to a screeching halt again. And after the last update, I spent a lot of time trying to track down a lawyer to help us. The real estate lawyer said that they only drew up sale contracts and didn't have the experience to help, so they suggested I go to a civil litigation lawyer. Civil attorneys either never responded or said that they didn't handle housing law. Most just never returned my calls. I finally got in touch with an old friend who works in a law office, and we're going to talk today. Final update. Well, last week was hands down the worst week of my life. After a series of threatening and erratic letters from my upstairs neighbor, aka Unit 3, I finally filed a restraining order, officially known as a protection from harassment order. Neighbor got served with it last night while I waited it out in a bar. From Monday to Saturday last week, Unit 3 sent us 6 different letters. The best thing to do would be to break everything down day by day. Monday's letter. Now this was covered in my last update. Unit 3 accused us of meeting behind her back to bring back her ex as a condo manager and decided on the repairs without her. Not true. She said that voting to keep her ex-husband as the condo manager was a huge boundary violation. She also said that she would not approve of any repairs without an estimate. My response? I responded to her via email since I stated in my last letter to her that it was my preferred method of contact. My email included the estimate for the repairs as she requested, and I told her that I voted on the repairs and the condo management through an official association communication sent by her ex-husband, who was still the official manager. After making a copy of her letter, I then returned the original to her mailbox, stating that I requested that all communication be done over email. So on Wednesday's letter, my other neighbor, Unit 2, notifies his intent to sell and requests that a decision be made on repairs in a prompt manner. Unit 3 replies to this letter, saying that she hoped that the past few weeks didn't cause him too much stress and that she agreed to move forward with the repairs. She then says that she is sure her ex-husband would be happy to serve as condo manager during this transition. She apologizes for not responding by email, but states that she only uses her email for private matters, that she never gives it out, and that she does not know how I got her email address. She included her email address as a way to contact her in a letter that she sent out last month. My response? I call the contractors to tell them that the association has decided to move forward with the repairs and for them to let me know when they start. I then email the ex-husband in order to confirm his agreement to stay on as condo manager and pay the bills for the repairs. I ignore Unit 3's claim that she never gave me her email address. So number 3 and 4 Friday's letters. This is a 3-page letter stating that while she still agrees to move forward with the repairs, she no longer thinks her ex will want to continue as condo manager. She then launches into this long diatribe about how I included her email address in a condo association letter, even though she never gave it to me. She did, and that I could have only gotten her email from a third party, which was another huge boundary violation and possibly illegal. She also says that she once had an email for just condo matters, but she had to delete it because a previous member of the association was harassing her. She then said that she would never use an email for condo matters in order to protect herself from harm. There's also a lot of talk about ethics and how she is a very ethical person, but that I am clearly not. She then talks about how she told Unit 2 that she would vote for him in the condo association manager if he took back what he said in the last meeting about her causing the previous owners of my unit to move out. Unit 2 declined, so he obviously is not fit to be condo manager. She calls what he said to her slander, and that slander could be very hurtful to her because she is planning to run for public office in 2022. She then says how that she no longer thinks external management's a good idea because of the expense, and that she should be the condo manager because she's very ethical and respectful and never says bad things about other condo owners. She then goes on to talk again about how her complaints about her things being touched and tampered with were not being taken seriously, and how I have no respect for her boundaries and have made threats to her in the past. I've not. She closes her comments by saying that if the association votes me in as condo manager, she will take the association to arbitration. So my response now, at this point, I'm completely rattled and I'm freaked out about being alone in the building with her. My other neighbors moved out at this point. I take the time to make a copy of the letter she wrote, which included her email address, and drop it in her mailbox, just saying, "Hi, here's the note you left me that included your email address." Then I drive straight to my parents for dinner, where we discuss the possibility of needing to get a restraining order because at this point, she's harassing me under the cover of condo business. So I get home that night, and I see another letter in my mailbox. This one just states that I provided evidence that she gave out her email, but that the rest of the contents of her letter still stand. I call the police department, and they connect me with the psych clinician on staff, and I leave her a voicemail. Basically, Unit 3 is not mentally well and that I needed to speak to a trained professional. Earlier that day, I sent an email to my other neighbor and the ex to let them know that the repairs were starting the next day. I was going to print out this email and leave it in Unit 3's mailbox when I got home from work, but after reading her 3-page letter, I decided that there was no use communicating with her anymore and I needed to cut off all contact. 5 and 6 Saturday's letters. Now the workmen arrive and I leave for most of the day. I speak to a family friend who's a social worker and deals with a lot of mentally ill people involved in the court system. Her take is that my neighbor has had some sort of delusional disorder and that I really need to just file a restraining order. I arrive home to a letter that I barely have the stomach to read at this point. It goes off about the carpenters already starting the repairs, and that she never officially agreed to start the repairs, and that what we were doing was illegal. She then says that she's going to file for arbitration, and that arbitration will also include the other issues happening to her. There's another follow-up letter correcting some small detail in the other letter. And my response is that I notify my boss that I'll not be in at work on Monday because I need to go to court to file a restraining order. So Monday rolls around, and first I visit the Registrar of Deeds to get the most up-to-date documents related to our HOA. I learn that no one has ever officially been named condo manager with the registry, and that the last time the association filed a document was in 2015. I also learn that I was never named a trustee of the association, as is usually the process. I don't know what any of this means, except that my HOA has been pretty lax about following procedures. The site clinician from the police department calls me back to discuss what's going on. We agree that her going to make a mental health check might make things worse for me, and that I needed to file a restraining order right away. While I'm at court filing the restraining order, the ex-husband finally responds to my email, saying that he has agreed to stay on as condo manager and will help facilitate payment for the repairs and so on. I have to tell him that his ex-wife is now refusing to pay her portion for the repairs and is working on taking us to arbitration. My restraining order is granted, so I go sit in the bar to give the PD time to serve the order to her. She's had bad interactions with the police before, so I'm sure the scene was not pretty. So today, no letters in my mailbox so far. The other unit has offered to pay for the majority of the repairs, so that Unit 3 won't have that issue to bring up in arbitration. She probably still will. So I had to send another email to the acting condo manager to let him know about the restraining order and that the other unit and I will pay for the repairs. And then I basically just said that I don't know how the condo association can continue to function as it is with Unit 3's state of mind. I have a couple of things I'm working on in my condo, and once those are finished, I'll most likely put my condo on the market. It sucks, because even though it's a great time to sell, there are not a lot of available condos here within my price range, and I just wish there was something I could do to save the future owners from having to deal with this nightmare neighbor again. I hate to say it, but this person's trying to take advantage of you and just take all their power and try to make it their own thing. And you know what? You're standing up to them, and they're backing down now that you have the true answers. And to sell your property because of a stupid HOA Karen sucks, but I hope that everything works out for you in the end. What would have you done? HOA Karen put a lien on my house, but I'm not even in the HOA. Click the video on your screen so you find out what happens to that HOA, and I'll see you there.